Good evening and welcome everybody to this Sunday night on an episode of the The Irish Fan Podcast. How are you? My name is Danny. Where I am not an Irish fan, I am the Irish fan. Thank you so much. Welcome to the show. We're going to get into the Purdue Notre Dame football game and my thoughts, what happened, where do we go from there, what this season's going to look like, and I don't know. It's mixed. that's just it, man. It's just that's the best thing I can say. That's just, even after a beatdown, that's the best thing I can say is that it's mixed reviews. Before we get into that, please like, share, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell for this channel so that every time I post a video, you know, and you can listen to your boy complain about Notre Dame football and college football at large and how it pertains to Notre Dame football. 30,000-foot view. Fan view of the program, how I feel about it, someone who's watched Notre Dame football since they were a little kid to now, and going forward. We like to complain about Notre Dame football more than anything because we love to complain about Notre Dame football. That's what I'm going to do today. Let's get it started right now. Purdue game. Well, we won. That's good. Winning is always good. You hear the old saying, a win is a win is a win is a win. Yes, that's true. But there's always a whole lot of buts in between those wins. And let's okay. This is gonna sound pretty negative for a podcast on this podcast for a game that we dominated. And again, I'm going to get into it, but a game that we didn't really dominate until after the first, I'd say, quarter and a half. It was Purdue was going down there to score a touchdown at the end of the second half until that stupid rain delay, and I can't even begin to tell you how frustrating it is whenever Notre Dame has these weird things happen like rain delays these weather delays. It usually does not pertain well to the season. I mean, you think back to I think it was 2011, when we came out, we were super psyched to watch South Florida coming into town. It was Skip Holtz, his return to Notre Dame, and we all thought it was going to be a nice, easy win into our first game. There's a huge rain delay, and we lose that game. We lost. And then that season was totally weird. I think we went 7-5, 8-5. We had a rain delay we had a weather delay when we were playing NC State, I think 2 years ago in 2023. That season was kind of disappointing considering that we had Sam Hartman at quarterback and Audric Estime at running back. We thought that was going to be a great season. That ended up kind of being a ho-hum 9-3 regular season. We won our bowl game. But I digress. I'm not trying to drudge up the past. I'm just trying to say it's just weird. It's just uncanny, and it's frustrating. So, did that end up hurting the game? No. Is it some kind of omen on the rest of the season? No. It's just you can't help but being a Notre Dame fan watching these kinds of things and being like, no, not again. But anyway, it happened. I'll say this. I will say this. Even that 10-3 season, when we had that rain delay, that weather delay at NC State, we came out and we whooped them. And same thing happened after this weather delay. We come out, we put the pedal to the metal, and we totally whooped Purdue, and really separated. It's when we made the separation in the game was after the delay. So that is what it is. But let's get into the positive stuff first. Okay, we have a great offense. We have dudes. Shocker. We have two All-American caliber. I'm not saying both of them are going to be All-Americans this year. They could. But we have two All-American caliber running backs. Yeah. I mean, we all knew that going into the season, which is kind of why we were so frustrated with the Miami game. Why are you not giving the ball more to these guys? And guess what? We're giving the ball more to them. We're scoring more points. We didn't win the game against Texas A&M, but we scored more points. Did the same thing yesterday. Gave them the ball. We scored more points. We need to let these dogs eat. They need to eat, and I think we're going to do that offensively going forward. We don't need CJ Carr did exactly what we needed him to do yesterday. That's another bright spot. He's a quarterback. I said this at the end of the Miami game. We don't have some great athlete playing quarterback. we have a quarterback playing quarterback. Riley Leonard, for all of his faults and for all of his everything that he could do well, he was a lot like Tim Tebow. And what I'm not saying that he was as good as Tim Tebow. Hear me out. I'm just saying that he was an athlete playing quarterback. Tim Tebow was an athlete playing quarterback, and you saw that and he got exposed when he went to the NFL. Same thing with Riley Leonard. Riley Leonard is an athlete, a good one, a very, very good one, just like Tim Tebow, playing quarterback. We need a quarterback playing quarterback. We have that this year in CJ Carr. And you just see it. You just saw it on the first play of the game. Dude drops a dime. And then he's dropping dimes the whole game. I mean, I didn't see him. I'd have to go back and look at the tape. I'm sure he had a miss or two, but I really didn't see him have any bad balls. Everything that I think he only had like 10 completions. I think he was 10 to 12 or something stupid like that. So he didn't have very many completions, which means he didn't have very many bad balls. He had a great game. Offensive line continues to improve, certainly in the run game and in pass pro. Yes, Anthony Knapp is slow. He gave up a sack, but we've been over that. I kind of don't want to beat a dead horse. I'll mention the times when there's messing up, because we got to call it out. But I've already talked about how we can solve that issue, and Notre Dame football feels like they don't need to. We can keep Anthony Knapp there, and we'll just continue giving up sacks like that. That's just, they're okay with that. They're okay with every game giving up an unblocked total speed rush right around the left tackle into the blind spot of our really good quarterback for finally, and we're just going to give that up once a game, at least, and other games multiple times a game. So they're good with that. Notre Dame is okay with that. So I guess we just, as fans, just kind of have to go, okay, well, we'll just, we'll get over it somehow. But yeah, we're just supposed to be okay with that, because apparently the coaching staff is. We're just going to keep giving that up every single game. If I sound a little frustrated, I am, because it's just, this kid, he's a guard. He's a good football player. That's probably the most frustrating thing about it. As I complain, he didn't have that bad of a game. He actually had a decent game, but he's just not a left tackle. And I thought it was interesting too. He actually got hurt on one play. Guess who they had slide over there to cover, or to cover that one play that Anthony, or two plays. I can't remember how many plays was out, but he was out a play or two. And guess who they had playing? Gerby Lambert. You just can't make this stuff up. Like, the guy that should be playing left tackle is playing guard, and the guy that should be playing guard is playing left tackle. I mean, and they even put that. I mean, they had him back him up in the game. I just don't understand it. I really don't understand it. And again, they're just going to be okay with the rest of the season, giving up at least one or two of those kinds of sacks and possibly injuring the best quarterback that we've had probably since Jimmy Clausen. So that's that. But overall, the line did improve. They improved in pass pro. They did improve in obviously run pro. But we kind of expected that, right? I talked about that in my prediction podcast, where we could have won that game 77-0, and it still isn't going to tell you much because Purdue is not good. But we did find some stuff out. Yes, we did find stuff out. We found out that the defense really is in trouble. We found that out. And, I said I was going to talk about the good things first. And I did. I kind of got them out of the way. We have really good running backs. Jeremiah Love is a stud. So is Jadarian Price. What do you have, 4 touchdowns? Dude, give the guy the rock. Keep doing that the rest of the season. That's awesome. Same thing with Jeremiah Love. 157 yards, 2 touchdowns. He didn't have any catches, but when you have that kind of a ground game, why you don't really need to give him the ball anymore. I mean, stud, absolute stud. CJ Carr, great game. Yeah, our offense rolled, and I totally expected it. And any Notre Dame fan that watching the game should have expected the exact same thing. We were going to score points against Purdue. So now let's get into the bad. We're going to have to score points against every team that we play in the rest of the season, because our defense is not a defense. I cannot believe we are back here at this point, at this juncture. We spent almost a decade rebuilding not just the brand of Notre Dame football, but the style of Notre Dame football. Notre Dame was always known for strong running, hard-nosed, stingy, fight for every single scrappy yard defense. And we finally built our way back to that, played for a national championship on that philosophy, and was a good quarterback position away from winning the national championship. And then one season later, we're back to the BVGVs of 2016. I just can't believe it. I can't. No one expects outside of the state of Alabama, nobody expects your team to play in the playoff and the national championship game every single year. That's just unrealistic. So I'm not putting that on the staff. I'm not putting that on the administration of the school or the fan base or anything like that. But I am saying that we need to be in the hunt every single year. And when you put defenses like this on the field, you're telegraphing to everybody, everyone who can watch a football game, that you gambled or there's a big decision that you made that you got wrong. And there's only one way to correct it. You lance the boil. You cut out the cancer. Okay? You get rid of the problem. Now, I'm not saying, I said it last podcast, I'll say it again. I'm not saying he needs to fire Chris Ash or fire anybody right now. A loss would have been worthy of a firing. Oh yes, I'd be saying that if we had lost to Purdue. And for a second there, I never was worried that we were going to lose the game, but it was, for a second there, was just a little bit too close for comfort. For a second there, I was like, so you're gonna allow a team that just 1 year ago, with a lot of the same personnel, you beat 66-7, and you're gonna just one season, not even a full calendar year later, you're gonna let that team hang around and just throw to wide open wide receivers all the way down the field, up and down the field, and just give up easy touchdowns. I can't believe it. I just can't believe Marcus Freeman has allowed this. I don't know. No coach is perfect, and every coach has their ups and downs and their decisions that they make that are bad. But all the great ones, every single great coach, they recognize, they find the boil, and they lance it immediately. And if anything came out of this game that we saw, that was pretty telling. I said earlier on our offensive line, we're fine with allowing Anthony Knapp to give up 1 to 2 really big sacks a game. So they're fine with that. They're willing to do that. And so another thing that we saw is that they're totally fine with our defense giving up wide open, huge chunk plays all the way down the field against no matter who you're playing. And that should be telling as to where the problem is, okay? Marcus Freeman keeps telling everybody in his press conferences that it's execution. Essentially, he's saying that it's the players. The players they don't get it yet. There's something there's something structurally wrong within the framework of how they're learning this new zone scheme that he decided to completely change at the last second for no reason. I don't understand. I'm at a loss for words. Danny, they won 59-30. What can you expect? They scored 30 points. Purdue scored 30 points. Texas A&M scored 41 points. Okay? I think Miami would like to have that game. There's Notre Dame. We should play Miami again. I think we win. I don't think we would. I think Miami would love to have that game back because they put up 40+ points. And now we're in a position to where we got to. This style of football, I hate it. I can't stand it. I can't stand going out every single Saturday hoping that your team scores 50 points so that you can win the game? What is this, 2009? That's exactly Charlie Weiss, Brian Kelly, 2016. You want to know Tyrone Willingham. You want to know every single coach that has been fired from Notre Dame for the last several years. And I know Brian Kelly wasn't fired, but he deserved to be after that 2016 season. They all had seasons where they had a defense, not an offense, but a defense that could not stop anything. They couldn't catch a cold. It was a sift. It was all they could do was hope that whoever caught the ball was not fast enough to get around them and make a tackle for 15 to 20 yards, all the way down the field. And then once you got within sniffing distance of the red zone, they throw it over the top for some ridiculous, sick one-handed catch. I mean, everyone's telling me that Nitro Tuggle is a really good player. I'd never heard of him before this. I'm sure he's great. It's just so weird. Again, I mean, you talk about these weird things and the weather delays and all that. Have you guys ever seen so many unbelievable one-handed NFL-style circus catches in a single season in your life? Up until the third game of the season, I mean, we haven't even played a full season. I mean, every single team is making these stupid, ridiculous catches out of but he shouldn't be open. We should have a hand in his face. We should have hands on him, preventing him from catching the ball. And we're not even close. We're not in position. And that's how it's been all year for 3 games. We've seen enough at 3 games. And Marcus Freeman just thinks they got to, it's just the worst response you can hear from a head coach. We just got to keep doing what we're doing. We got to keep practicing. If we don't get pressure on the quarterback, then we're kind of leaving our cornerbacks out to dry. I mean, you're blaming everybody but yourself, coach. I mean, we hear it from other people in the locker room that, you're pointing, you look in the mirror, it's your fault. Look in the mirror, your fault. I'm looking in the mirror, it's my fault. And pointing, we're hearing that, but we're not seeing it. We're not seeing it on the field. You're doing the same stuff. You're doing the same stuff. At this point, here's the thing. This is probably the most frustrating thing. At this point, they just don't get it. And you're losing very valuable games in a very short season, this sport that we love in college football, even with its extended amount of time, extended amount of games in the playoff, it's still short. You've only got a few games to show people what you're really made of, and so far what you've shown everybody is that your defense can't stop anybody. Whether you're playing Miami and Carson Beck or Purdue, you're still giving up 30 points, at least 30 points. I know Miami scored 27, but 27 points, 30 points, 40 points, that's not good enough. And every single time we get into this position, I feel like we're just wasting certain things. Like, we're wasting this talent that we have with Jeremiah Lovett and Jadarian Price and our wide receiver Malachi Fields and Will Pauling. It just feels wasted, because these kinds of players, these kinds of athletes, they deserve to be on the prime time playing for the biggest games in the biggest situations and winning them, not competing, not going out there, giving it your all, fighting and going into Georgia but we had the last possession, we're going to win that, go ahead. We came down to just a missed field goal. All those stupid excuses. I'm just over it. I'm done with that. We've seen that. As Notre Dame fans, we've been there. We've done that. We don't want that anymore. We want wins against teams of consequence in playoffs, and specifically a win in a national championship game. That's what we want. And this defense, forget the playoff. Forget it. Forget it. It will not happen. And as I said before, we found some stuff out. Yeah, we found out that Chris Ash is not a good defensive coordinator. We found that out. He's not good. Can't coach. I don't know what it is, because again, we're mushrooms. We're fed crap and we're kept in the dark. We don't know because they don't tell us. All we have our eyes and we have the games. That's it. And what my eyes see on the field is crap. And I'm done. I'm absolutely done. I don't care. I don't care if we win every single game the rest of the year. We go 10-2, and we win every single game the rest of the year, 40-30. Great. We have a great offense. Awesome. We have a terrible defense, and whatever good team that we play in the playoff is going to beat us 45-10. Because eventually we're going to run into a team where our offense just doesn't have it, and we're going to need our defense to make stops, and they're not even going to come close. They're not going to be able to do it, and we're going to get hammered, and we're going to get exposed. And so goes every single Notre Dame's football season since I have been born, since 1993, is a team that is not complete. And I'm sick of it. I'm just so sick of it. I don't have the words. I'm speechless that I'm even having this conversation. Because if anything, I think most Irish fans I didn't expect to be 3-0. I thought we could be. I thought we had a good chance at the beginning of the season. But I don't think anybody expected us to be 1-2 with our lone win against Purdue and with a defense that's this bad, considering the last 4 years that we've had with top 5 elite defenses, especially in the secondary. We've always had issues rushing the passer. And hey, we got a sack or two, and that's good. But I'll have you know, go back and watch the game. We got those sacks off of stunts. Whenever we twist and stunt or blitz, we put pressure on the quarterback. Doesn't mean it always went home, but we at least pressured him. And why we can't go back to that on a regular basis like we did last season, I don't understand. We'll get a sack on this play, we'll make it 3rd and 24, and then they'll complete on a first down. We're just seeing that so much. I don't understand it. I don't get it. And again, our coaches are showing us with our own eyes on the field every Saturday that they're totally fine with it, and they're just going to keep doing. They're just going to keep on keeping on. Just keep going, and we'll see maybe one of these days they'll get it. On our 5th loss of the year, and we're 7-5 or 8-5, at best. So again, I know I said that this was going to sound pretty negative after a 59-30 loss, but there is just no universe in which giving up 30 points to this Purdue football team is acceptable. There just isn't. That's just not acceptable. I know one of them was in junk time, and it was that circus, ridiculous, crazy catch. Shouldn't have been in position. I don't care who's on the field. I don't care. They shouldn't have been in position. And we're allowing these points to happen. It's the same defense. The same defense that you saw giving up touchdowns in junk time is the same defense that you see in quarters that matter, the first and second quarter, giving up touchdowns. It's the same defense, same players. They're giving up touchdowns. No matter who's on the field, they're giving up touchdowns. They're not knowing where. There's a lot of finger pointing. There's a lot of, hey, you need to be here. There's a lot of last second running to your spot where you need to be when the ball's being hiked. No one's in the right position. Everyone's yelling at each other. It's chaos. It is chaos. And every single week, it's chaos. And you reveal to everyone, all the fans and all the people watching, exactly what you're made of, and that is throw the football against Notre Dame. Why did one of the best takes I've heard so far, and all the listening that I've been doing, is from John Kennedy from Always Irish. Why are teams even bothering running on Notre Dame? Purdue. Every team should have 60 passes on Notre Dame. Every single team. I don't understand why you're even bothering, right? Because you don't need to. You don't need to run the ball. All you got to do, you have 3 chances to get 10 yards. You're going to get 10 yards, 1 out of those 3 chances. You just are. Because we can't stop anybody. So if you're a coach out there, you want to scout Notre Dame, just throw the ball. Just throw the football. You'll be fine. because our coaches don't. They're not stopping what they're doing. They're just going to keep doing what they're doing, which is bad defense. So throw the football. I know I'm ranting a lot about that because it's. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to do. This is not a good defensive football team. And there's good news here. For Notre Dame fans, we're going to be able to do one of two things this weekend. We're going to play Arkansas at Arkansas. We're either going to get exposed or we're going to win. I said before we're going to find some stuff out against Purdue. It was going to be one of three things. Either we're going to lose, and the Marcus Freeman era is close to becoming to an end. The Chris Ash Freudian slip. The Chris Ash era is definitely coming to an end with a loss, and we are in rebuilding mode already. There's that didn't happen. There was the middle one, which would be the most frustrating, which we kind of ho-hum, have a little rinky-dink win out there, and win by 7 points, 10 points, 12 points, something like that, where they're not really telling you one way or the other whether they want to be on the field or not. Or we would have a beatdown, and that would at least tell you that the players are still invested, that the team is kind of still invested, that they're still here showing up. We want to play hard, we want to play football, and we want to win. Well, I think you got a little bit of a mix of 2 and 3. We didn't get one because we lost or because we won. So we won the game, and we won convincingly. So it was a beatdown, but we kind of, I don't know. It was one of the most lackluster beatdowns I've seen. It didn't have any oomph behind it. It didn't have a state. Like last year, we lose to Northern Illinois. We are so down, and our team came out pissed off. I mean, everyone was Purdue didn't have a chance in snowball's hell in that game, and we absolutely put the beat down on them. And from our starters to our second and third, we had third string players in that game putting the whooping on, and they just didn't have a chance. And you saw it. You saw it on the field, and you didn't see perfect play, but you saw it. Everyone was mad, and they came out and they played like it, and we won 66-7. It was decisive. This one is a little different. I mean, we scored a whole bunch of points, but that's only because we have dogs. We have a lot of players that are better than Purdue's players. That's it. It's not because we changed anything. It's not because the guys played harder in this game than they played against Miami or Texas A&M. I mean, if anything, I think they played harder in Texas A&M than they did against Purdue. But it's nothing like, there's nothing that you could point to on the field that they were doing that you're like, okay, this right here, yeah, this is what's going to get them wins going down the road. There just wasn't. Even the good offensive play. And again, CJ Carr, he's a quarterback. He's throwing dimes. He's running the offense. He's leading the offense. He's giving the ball to his athletes, doing exactly what he needs to do and exactly what's asked of him, and that's great. But eventually we're going to need the other side of the ball to help him out. And they're not going to be able to deliver. And we're going to lose. And it's going to be against a frustrating team. I mean, think about this. We got the rest of our games. We got Arkansas. We got Boise State. We got USC. Can you imagine? I mean, just think about that. Your third loss of the season that takes you completely out of the playoff conversation is going to be either to Arkansas, Boise State, or USC. Oh, Danny, that's so negative. Why would you even think that? I can't unsee what the product that they put on the field every single Saturday so far, which is crap. We're going to drop one of those games as long as our defense continues playing that way. Because our offense isn't going to be able to score 45 points every single game. No offense does. Ask Ohio State. They only put up, 36 or 39 against Ohio. Like, there's just some days your offense isn't going to have it. And vice versa. Last year, we played USC at USC, and our defense didn't have it that game. A good defense, an elite defense, didn't have it. And we needed our offense to keep pace with USC's offense, and they did. They stepped up when they needed to. Is our defense going to do the same thing this year? I just have no faith. I have no faith. As long as Chris Ash is the defensive coordinator, I have no faith. Unless I see on the field Marcus Freeman making real changes. Press man coverage as a base, doing it a lot. Doing more run blitzes, more blitzing on first down and first and second down, more getting more pressure on the quarterback, like you did last year. If I can start seeing that, then there's some hope. But again, we're gonna find out this Saturday if this team is still really invested, because Arkansas is not amazing. I don't think they're not better than Miami or Texas A&M, but they're good enough to beat Notre Dame for sure, especially at home. It's a tough SEC style team. You know, they're going to bring it. They're going to be excited. Everyone's going to be pumped. They're playing Notre Dame. I mean, we're 1-2. We're still ranked somehow, 22nd in the country right now. I don't know how that's okay. Well, Danny, we lost to 2 top 10 teams by a total of 4 points. We lost though. I don't care if it was by a combined 2 points. We lost. And college football is about wins, not losses, and I'm over it. I'm over the Bush push. Well, we played USC, one of the best teams of all time, so good. We lost. I'm over it. I'm done. Don't want it anymore. I want to win. So we're gonna find out whether we need to be invested the rest of the season, or whether we're, quite frankly, we're just gonna pack it in, and we have a pretty lackluster loss because our defense is terrible. And we're going to have at best 9-3 season, but most likely 7-5. I mean, that's super depressing, super annoying, and super frustrating. So we'll find that out. We're going to find that out this weekend. A win means, okay, we're going to keep the ball rolling. You're going to get more opportunities to prove people like me wrong on the football field. And that's good. A loss, and you're just going to be exposed. Your butt's going to show. You're going to show it to everybody. Out of the playoff, and a BBG style of defense and season. So that's all I got tonight. That's my rant. I love you guys. Thanks for listening. Again, please like, share, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell, all those good YouTube things so that we can keep this podcast rolling. I just like talking football and yelling and talking Notre Dame football, so I'm going to do this no matter what. But I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I love you. Go Irish.